God's response today to that griping and complaining. And what I want you to know, like, when we come to this topic of the wilderness, I want you to know that, the wilderness for everybody in here is very, very different, right? We're all at different ages. We're going through different experiences. Some of us have young kids. Well, that's a different season in life. Some of you are just young marrieds. Some of us have kicked the children out of the home, and you thought you were going to save money, and that didn't happen. Do anybody know what that feels like? You're like, thank goodness they're gone. We're going to have so much money. That's not right. You just give more to them because they're going to college or something else. Some of us are dealing with aged parents. There's a lot of parenting books, how to parent your kids. There's not a book out there that I know of, and maybe there are some, but they're not as prevalent, I guess, as how do you parent your parent. That's not easy. It's a different season of life. And so we're all at different stages. We're all at different seasons. And then what I want to look at is, where we are today in our lives. How do we handle the life situations? How do we handle the things that are going on? That's our wilderness. Then that's what's going on, and that is where we are. So when some things feel uncertain, when resources might feel unlimited, or God feels distant, even though He's not, how do we handle this, and what are we going to do about it? So I want someone to read Exodus chapter 13, verses 17 and 18. I want you to know that God did not take the people of Israel into the wilderness just on a whim. This was planned. So I don't think we look at these two verses. We look at the verses after those, right? How God is going to guide them with the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire. And we look at all those verses, but we don't look at verse 17 and 18. So what do those say? Exodus chapter 13, 17 and 18. Somebody read those for me.
When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them along the road to the land of the Philistines, even though it was nearby. For God said the people will change their minds and return to Egypt if they face war. So He led the people around toward the Red Sea along the road of the wilderness, and the Israelites left the land of Egypt in battle formation.
There you go. So they leave. Now, I'm going to show you a map because I'm a geography guy. And so we know that they're going to leave the land of Goshen. They're going to travel down through this area. This is where the Red Sea crossing is. Okay? I've done this lesson before. And we talked about why this has happened. Geography, just read the Bible. Everything lines up perfect. This is where the Red Sea crossing is. Mount Sinai is going to be over here. This is your wilderness wandering. Now go back to what he said in verse 17. He did not take them which direction? To the land of the Philistines. So you can actually follow, I don't know why there's a golden line on here, but if you can follow this line, it would have been so much easier for them to travel through the northern part of this. And this is Jerusalem right here, Jericho's right there. The land of the Philistines are on the west of that, up against the water. So it would have been really simple for them, instead of coming all the way down here and all the way into the wilderness, all they would have to do is stay on the northern side, go into the land of the Philistines, hang a right, take over the promised land, but they don't. What does God say? I didn't take you the easy route. I took you a different route. Now the question is why? It's in the verses. To avoid war. Okay, so if we go into war, they might get scared and they're going to turn around and run. The funny thing is, they're still going to face this, and they're still going to want to go back to Egypt. But do people know that I work? My brother doesn't know I am working right now. Okay. No problem. Hey, brother. What's up? Yeah, I'm actually doing a Bible class. You want to say hi to my class? Class, say hi to my brother Tim. Yeah, I'm kind of working right now.
Enjoy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye. All right.
There are 3 Egyptian forts that direction too. I have the names. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Showing up the direction.
Yeah, and so So if they don't want to see war, they don't want to turn around. Okay, so the point I want you to see here is that God takes them to the wilderness on purpose. Okay? We got to go in this direction, and there's reasons for this, okay? So why does God sometimes, or maybe it kind of feels like for us, why does it feel like that God takes us on the long route and not the easy short route in our personal lives?
Sometimes what we think is the easy route is not the easy route, and the route God has planned for us ultimately ends up being the easier route, and we would face so much more difficulty the way we want it to.
Okay, so sometimes we may say, hey, I think this would be the easy route, and we don't know it's not, and God is trying to take care of us. Okay, good. Anybody else?
The wilderness was sanctification for them. There's an old saying that you can take Egypt or Israel out of Egypt, but they couldn't take Egypt out of Israel.
Yeah, it's good. So maybe the long route is to test you, to help you work through some things in your life so that maybe you'll be stronger for it in the end. Yeah, there's all these reasons. So, okay, I want to keep going. I want you to go to Exodus chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16. Now, in between 16, 14, you got the crossing of the Red Sea in chapter 14. You have some incredible moments there. Chapter 15 at the very beginning is, actually, I want you to stay in chapter 15 just for a second. But the beginning of chapter 15 is the Song of Moses. And then I want you to read for me and look for me at verse 22 of chapter 15, not 16, chapter 15. And I want you to read down through, I know it's a lengthy reading, but can I get somebody to read down to verse 26, 22 through 26?
And Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. When they came to Marah, they could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter, therefore it was named Marah. So the people grumbled at Moses, saying, What shall we drink? Then he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him the truth. And he threw it into the waters, and the waters became sweet. There he made for them a statute and regulation, and there he tested them. And he said, If you will give earnest heed to the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all the statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have put on the Egyptians, for I, the Lord, am your healer.
Oh, don't you love it? Okay, so they traveled into the wilderness several days, and there's no water. The water they find is bitter. That's why it's called Marah, and they can't drink the water. Ever have that happen to you? Yes? Who said yes? Where? Has that actually happened to you guys? Yeah, where?
Down in the canyons,
You can't drink it. That's good to know, because I don't know that. So they came to this water, and they couldn't help it. The people were crying out, what are we going to do? God says, throw the stick or the log or the tree into the water, it becomes sweet. But it's verse 26. I'm going to reread verse 26, because this is really the foundation that when you come into verse 16 and everything else that we're going to look at, you're going to come back in verse 26 and said, if you just did this, right? So what does he say? If you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord, that's Yahweh, your God, Elohim, I believe there, and do that which is right in his eyes, and give ear to his commandments and keep his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord, your healer. So what is he saying? Put it in your own words.
Do what I tell you, and I'll take care of you.
Yeah, if you just listen and follow what I need you to do. Now, then he gives a reference. He goes, I want you to know if you don't listen, what will come upon you? What happened back in where? Egypt. He goes, you know what I can do. You've seen what I can do. You've seen my power. And he goes, now I won't let these things happen to you. I will be your healer. Meaning I'm going to be there to take care of you and heal you and walk along with you. But it's just the whole thing of, will you just listen to what I want you to do? Okay, but now this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at verses 1 through 3. I need somebody to read 1 through 3 of chapter 16. Look what happens.
they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. How many verses did you say?
3.
Okay. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the people of Israel said to them, would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
Okay, do you see what's going on? Do you understand what's going on? So they left Elim. If you look at the last verse of the previous chapter, it's like there's like several springs, there's palm trees. You know, they have what they need. They leave there, they go into the wilderness, and what do they say? We're going to what? We're going to die. But what do they say? Look in that passage. Listen to what they're trying to say to them. Where were they standing before? Beside the what? Huh? Meat pots. Man, we had meat. What else did they have? Bread. We had everything we needed. They are not even remembering their past. Understand this. Listen to this. When you're in the middle of griping and complaining, you rewrite your history to justify your complaining today. What were they in Egypt?
400 years.
400 years, that's generations of what?
Slaves.
Slaves. No freedom. From what I understand from the book of Exodus, and what they were building were what when Moses showed up? We know they were building something. What were they called? They're small bricks. They're building structures. Somebody ruled over them. These rulers even said, you had to kill all your boys. Does that sound like a good place? And I'm going off the top of my head of what I've read. And I know there's a whole bunch of different history as well that we can put in here of how they took care of these amazing Jews. That's not how they treated them. Do you remember how the people looked at shepherds when Moses brought his family to Egypt? What did Pharaoh say?
Live outside the town, don't come in here.
You're going to go to the land of Goshen, and the Egyptians despised shepherds. What were the Israelites? Shepherds. So we're in the middle of, in the wilderness, you've just been rescued by your God, and now they're rewrote their past to justify their present frustrations. Okay? Somebody read Numbers chapter 11, 4 through 6. I need to go a little faster. I'm going too slow. Numbers chapter 11, verse 4 through 6. When you've got it, just go ahead and read it, please.
Now the rabble that was around them had a strong craving. The people of Israel also wept again and said, "Oh, that we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt that cost nothing, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now our strength is dried up, and there is nothing at all but this manna to look at."
Yeah. So it's again, we're just going back and remembering, remember all the good things. But they've forgotten what they've really been saved from, right? Philippians chapter 2, 14, he tells us, do everything without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. It's interesting, to shine as lights in the world, there's two things he said you should do. Don't do what? Gripe and complain, right? Grumble and dispute, right? Because that's not something that we should be doing. Okay, we're going to get to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 a little bit later. That's fine. So what I want you to know, I am not doing this at all. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's the next part. What I want, I'm looking for a slide that I want. That's okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm way behind. Sorry. This is why I don't like doing PowerPoint. When you're complaining, this is what's going to happen. You're going to distort reality. Okay? You're not going to look at reality for what it really is. You're going to make it whatever you want because you want to gripe and complain. You're going to forget God's faithfulness of everything that He has done for you. I mean, that is in the midst of griping and complaining. You are forgetting what God has done for you. That's exactly what they are forgetting as well. And then they're going to focus on what is missing instead of what is being provided by God. You follow me? Okay, good. Now, this is what I want you to, we're going to move on right into the next part here. God's response is absolutely incredible for me because He doesn't come in, and He doesn't come in with punishment. He comes in with provision. He's going to actually take care of His people. So let's keep reading. So we're going to be in Exodus chapter 16. Somebody read verses 4 and 5 for me. 4 and 5.
Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not. On the 6th day, when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather daily.
So we're gonna reread that again, and just a little bit later he'll kind of repeat himself when Moses is talking to the people. But in verse 4, God says, okay, I'm going to provide for you, I'm going to take care of you. But there's something added to it. What is added to the provision?
Gather enough for one day.
Yes, gathering enough for the day. Testing. I'm going to provide, but there's going to be a test involved. Somebody read Deuteronomy for me. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2 and 3. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2 and 3. When you have it, go ahead and read it. But I want you to see, God's going to provide, but He's saying, I'm going to see how you handle the provision that I'm going to give you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm your God. I delivered you. But how are you going to respond? What does Deuteronomy chapter 8, 2 and 3 say?
Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep His commands. He humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord.
There you go. So now he goes, so why didn't God take him into the wilderness? To test him. What's the test?
Where do you put your trust?
Say it again next time.
Where do you put your trust?
Where are you putting your trust? Are you putting your trust here? With me? What's going to happen? I'm going to provide, but the question is, where are you going to actually put your trust? Are you going to put your trust in me? Do you remember what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 11? Give us this day our daily bread. Yeah. So how when we kind of think about this trusting and how God provides, it's not all, we always think like long term, getting to the end, we set those goals. Why are we not doing it daily? Why are we not living in the presence of God daily? Why are we not looking for God's trust daily? Do you? On a daily basis. I'm not saying you're a poor Christian or anything. On a daily basis, do you wake up and say, today I'm trusting you no matter what? Your call. You tell me. There's no right or wrong answers.
Well, yes is probably the right answer.
You are correct. It is yes, the answer is correct. Yes, you should.
I don't think we have to.
What do you mean?
We have everything we need.
Ooh, okay, I see the direction. Well done. Keep going.
I think we like to trust God more in the long term, not daily. I mean, daily, we're good
Yeah,
until something hits you, and then,
there it is.
yeah.
So you're A-okay when you have everything you need, but when you don't have it, what do we quickly do? So there's your problem, right? We become very satisfied. Some of us have really good jobs, and we really don't need a whole lot. So that daily trust is, we want to say it's there, but maybe it's not really as there as we think it is until something goes really wrong. And then we're really going to try to look at trust.
This is very simplistic about what's going on in the ruler's wondering, but I think, my opinion, my observations. What God really wants of these folks is to thank Him.
Yeah, 100%. Gratitude.
You know, is to be grateful for what they have received, the deliverance they have received.
Yeah.
So, and I think He wants the same, no less, of us.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned a job. You know, if somebody's got a good job, how often do we say, oh man, we've got a good job? We got that job. And don't recognize that job as a result of God blessing us.
Preach. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have an attitude of, and it's hard to be 100% consistent with this, if you have an attitude of gratefulness, then I think that concept of trust isn't, I don't have to wake up every morning and say, God, I trust you. I trust you. It's just part of what we do, recognizing the greatness of God and I think the goodness of God we talked about earlier.
100%. Good stuff. Pin it. We're going to come back to it as well. No matter what that season is, remember the wilderness season is, what we need to be doing on a daily basis is putting that trust, whether it's on the positive side or even on the negative side, it's really recognizing who God is and what He's doing for us. What's also interesting when you're reading all these passages in the book of Exodus, God is not giving abundance. Now, what verse do we really want to quote all the time? I will give you life and you will have it. Man, we want the abundancy, right? Hey, if I dedicate enough, I need abundance, right? But what does He provide for the people of Israel in the wilderness? Enough. He provides enough. So when you have enough, will you still put your trust in me? They would have survived, and they would have been okay. And the question is, you know, are we able to handle just enough? Man, I need to keep going, but that's okay. I want to keep going on this, and it's a daily dependence is what we're kind of leaning into right now. Daily is the right amount. And then somebody said it earlier, I think it was John, when we talked about how God was going to provide the manna. We're going to go back to it in Genesis chapter 16 right now. But they were only to provide or take what they needed that day, except on the sixth day, they got the double amount because it did not come on the Sabbath, right? And so they were supposed to be taking what they need for that day. What does that teach you? What was God maybe trying to teach the people of Israel at that time? With that whole notion of, I'm going to give you what you need today.
Don't worry about tomorrow, because today has enough worry of its own.
Golly. All right, now you got to read it. Where is it at?
That I don't know.
Matthew 6. Yeah, and what verse? I have 34. What's that? Yeah, go to Matthew chapter 6. We got to read it. You got to read it. And tell me what's going on in or around it, but it's verse 34. This is Jesus' teaching. It's the teaching that we actually find in the wilderness, right? This is not new things that Jesus is showing us. It's just showing us where our heart is. And that's the question that Jesus does a really good job of saying, hey, let's talk about the heart and where this is all at. So go ahead. What does it say?
Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble.
Yeah. Why are we anxious for stuff that we can't even know what's going to happen? How often are we worrying about tomorrow? Okay, now I'm preaching to me. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. Okay? This eldership even knows I lose sleep worrying about things. I shouldn't be doing that, right? Because God's got this. We just do our part for that day, and we lean on Him during that day, right? But we lose sleep and we worry about things. Go to John chapter 6. Read John chapter 6 for me, 31 through 35. A beautiful passage. And I have it marked. I want to go over there with you. John chapter 6. Wow, it opened right up to it. I think the Lord is saying something. John chapter 6. Look at verse 31 through 35. And this is after Jesus walks on the water. He talks about He's the bread of life. Somebody read 31 through 36 for me. A little lengthy, but not. It's 35. 31 through 35.
Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written. He gave them bread from heaven to eat. Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, it is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Sir, they said, always give us this bread. Then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty.
Okay, it's crazy. What's the example Jesus is using? What we're reading, right? All the way back in Exodus. He says, hey, you remember the manna, the bread back here that God gave you enough and that He provided for you every day and He took care of you? Yeah, we know that bread. What does He say? It didn't come from anywhere. It came from where? Same boldly, guys. Came from heaven. Came from God. This is a blessing from God. And they said, hey, we want this bread that's always going to be able to last. And what does He say? I'm it. So it goes back to our trust issues. Where are we placing our trust? Why are we worrying about today, or worrying about tomorrow? And He says, hey, let's put our faith and your trust in me, and I'm going to take care of you.
Note on that, he's interpreting the feeding of the 5,000.
Okay. Yes. Absolutely. It's right on the cusp of that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's also water. It
Yes.
goes right before it too, so we have bread and water going into this.
Yes. Why is it, how does worry relate to our lack of daily trust? How does worry relate to our lack of daily trust?
We feel like we have to fix it
Why?
because we're self-reliant.
Okay.
And, for me, I think, sadly, sometimes I don't even think to give things to God. I'm too busy worrying about it and trying to figure out how to work it out. And that means that I don't trust God. I'm relying on myself to get it all figured out. And it never works out well.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
It does for a short time. Because you feel like you accomplished something, and then you realize, I'm not doing anything. That's right. It's great. Anybody else? When you worry, what's going on?
Stress.
Who said it?
Stress.
Stress. So let me ask you this question. You said it. We'll open it to the class. What happens when you stress? Body, what happens to your body physically? Let's talk
Blood
physically.
pressure goes up.
Say that again?
Blood pressure goes up.
Blood pressure's up. Good. Anything else?
Usually you hang your head.
Say that again.
Hang your head.
Really? Okay. Very good. Absolutely. Posture will change. You're looking down. Good. Anybody else? Anything else?
You don't sleep.
Don't sleep. What happens when you don't sleep? Everything else deteriorates, right? Yeah. Anybody else?
Cortisol.
Cortisol goes up. What does cortisol do?
It ups all it is for a fight or flight response, and if it keeps you in that mode, then you have hyper symptoms of wear and whatever the wear is going.
Yeah. Good. You know what else I've learned? People that can't see well, their vision goes blurry. And I'm like, you wear glasses. You just went to the eye doctor. You know what the doctor says? It's not your glasses, not your prescription. What are you stressed out about? And the guy was like, how did you know I was stressed out? He goes, because you can't see. You can't see. Your body actually reacts to it. Okay, now let's go mentally. What's going on mentally when you're worried? You can get mental fatigue too, right? It becomes a fog. You can't think straight. You're focused. When all those things happen, right? You just start breaking down. Spiritually, it just comes right along with it. When everything else really breaks down, and your core is not right and where it needs to be, it really breaks down. I knew a guy in Mayo, Florida, my first job in Florida, and this guy would check the stock market every hour. Every hour. I call him Cadillac Jack. We don't call him Cadillac in the church. We call him Cadillac Jack. And I'm like, why are you checking the stocks every hour? Tell me what's important to me. Right? Now, tell me what happens when the stocks go down and he started losing money.
Stress.
Panic. What's that?
Maybe panic.
Panic. What's going to happen? Do I need to sell? What do I have to do? Hey, I'm not against the stock market. Do what you want, but it's not life. But Cadillac Jack thought it was. Right? What are you doing? Where's your trust? It needs to be in God.
I mean, that's the whole thing, isn't it? About how many times it happens, how many times you've worried about something and that thing happens. I mean, it happens. That's life. And I think that's where you have to build that's where you're building your faith.
Yes.
Because you worry. I mean, just because you don't worry about something doesn't mean it's not going to still happen. Or because you worry about something, it may still happen. So, I mean, it's the faith that you're building during those times.
Exactly. And when those things may happen, I'm going to be able to stand it. Right? Because it goes through those moments. All right, let's keep going. Oh, we're doing fine. I was worried and we're doing just fine. Okay, stay in Exodus chapter 16. Somebody read verses 19 and 20 for me. 19 and 20. I told you we're going to come back to this. What we're going to find is that God has done all these things. So look at Exodus chapter 16. What did I say, 19 and 20? I think that's what I told you. Yeah, 19 and 20. Go ahead.
Then Moses said to them, no one is to keep any of it until morning. However, some of them paid no attention to Moses. They kept part of it until morning, but it was full of maggots and began to smell, so Moses was angry with them.
You got maggots? I only have worms. Man, what are you reading? NIV? Oh, I like a good maggot. That's a good, I love that. That's good. All right, I only got worms. It's not so bad. Maggots? Whoa, that's worse. Okay, and stank. Okay, that's a very good southern word. So Moses tells them exactly how to handle the manna. You just take enough, they cooked it, and there were several different ways that they could cook it, and it tasted pretty good to them. But some of them did not what? Listen. Why don't we listen? Before I move on to the next verse I want to look at, why don't we listen? Do you remember verse 26 I told you? What did God say? If you just listen, good things are going to happen. So the question I have is, why don't we listen?
I think ultimately it's because most of us think that our way is right.
Okay, maybe our way is right. I'm reiterating this so people, they are watching it, they can't hear you always. So, okay, so maybe our way is right. Maybe I know better. Do your kids ever do that to you when you're parenting? Dad, I know what I'm doing. And you're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. I know what you're about to do. And so you know what my father did all the time? To his 4 boys? We're like, Dad, you know what we're doing? He goes, okay. And then we failed miserably. Or we built a ramp. And my dad, the engineer, was like, that's not going to hold. Yes, it will, Dad. This is a true story. And I'm watching, I'm sitting on the grass, because I'm the youngest. I get to watch the show my entire life. And my 2 oldest brothers are a year apart. They built this really, rickety ramp. They're going to go take their, we had mountain bikes, not like the ones, no. They had big shocks. That's all I remember. And they're like, we're going to take our bikes, we're going to jump this. My dad comes out and goes, it's not going to work. It's going to collapse as soon as you go like halfway. Someone's going to get hurt. Don't do this. Dad, we're fine. My dad goes, okay. Chris is the first one down. He is pedaling as fast as he can. He hits that ramp. What happens? It crashes. He's off the bike. He hits hard. We're bleeding. And he looks at Dad. And what do you think my brother told my dad? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And my dad was like, I did. You didn't listen. He knew he was going to kill himself, but he said, now you just listen. Right? Why else don't we listen?
Because we don't eat the manna of the Lord every morning.
There you go. We don't eat the manna of the Lord every morning. I love it. Great. Love it.
We can call our morning time in prayer the morning watch.
Oh, that's good.
Where we eat the manna of the Lord.
Yeah, so that goes back to spending time with God, whether that's in prayer, scripture, reading. There'll be a lesson at some point, but we need to talk about Sabbath at some point, right? What really is Sabbath from the very beginning and all the way through, and what it looks like today for us. But Sabbath means rest. We don't take a lot of rest. We don't take that time. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, really spending that time during some part of your day spending time with God. Changes your whole perspective of your day.
The timing of the gathering of the manna was important too. By the time the sun was up, it melted.
Yeah, because it was with the dew. Yeah, and it was gone.
I recommend that we rise before our family rises and seek the Lord's face. One guy said this a long time ago, which would we rather have, forgiving or asking God for forgiveness for all the blunders we made at the end of the day, or be victorious in the morning and fight those battles before we go there.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Love it. I'm going to read a couple more verses. Chapter 16, look at verse 27 through 30. On the seventh day, some of the people came out to gather, but they found none. What did they not find? Manna. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, on the sixth day, he gives you bread for 2 days. Remain each of you in his place. Let no one go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. But you see what he says? They went out on the seventh day. Did they listen? On the sixth day, what they were supposed to do? Gather twice as much. They didn't do it. They go outside and know, where is it? Where is it? And God's like, hey, how long will it be? I want you guys, I need someone to read, go to Hebrews chapter 3. Hebrews chapter 3, verses 16 through 19. Hebrews chapter 3, 16 through 19. And again, he's going to be looking back. And he's going to be looking at these people. So somebody read verses 16 through 19 for me, please.
Who were they who heard and rebelled? Were they not all that Moses led out of Egypt? And with whom was he angry for 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose bodies perished in the wilderness? And to whom did God swear that they would never enter his rest, if not to those who disobeyed?
Yeah. So what were they not able to do because of disobedience?
Into the promised land.
Get into the promised land. Okay? Not listening is a part of disobedience. Did you know that? I mean, you're going to disobey if you're not listening. And the Hebrew writer does a fantastic job of walking through all of this, and he's talking about these things. Why do we struggle? Why do we struggle fully to trust in God's provision even after seeing the blessings that he's done for us in our life? So why is it that we still have a hard time trusting and listening and following even though we've seen God's provision?
Because we can't get over ourselves.
Okay? Can't get over ourselves? What do you mean by that?
It's all about me, today, now, what I want, what I don't want,
Yeah.
what makes me feel good. It's about me. It's not about God, not about others, it's about me.
Good.
We have a hard time trusting things we can't see, things we can't pick up and touch and interact with.
Why?
Because lack of faith.
Okay. You're right. Okay. Had somebody over here?
I was going to say kind of our culture of busyness.
Yeah.
Like, we have a tendency to look down at other cultures that are a little bit quieter. And like, if you've ever like visited somewhere where they legitimately like tend their garden for 30 minutes, get some corn for that day, and then do nothing else, it's really hard to not be judgmental about that. But like,
Yeah.
they're
No.
fed in that moment.
No, I know what you're saying. So I was in Trinidad and Tobago, and you start any event, you tell everybody, starts at say 3 o'clock. Trinities will show up at 3:30, 4, 4:30, and they're on time. Why? It's not that they call it Trinity time. All the Americans say it's Trinity time because what time? If you had an event at 3 o'clock, what time are you there at? 2:55, 2:50, 3:05 maybe. Church of Christ time, 3:10. You guys walk in my class every Sunday late, 10 minutes. I don't know why, right? But we're pretty close to that time. but they have a different attitude in life. You know, it's like, I'm going to get there, but they spend more time together. It's crazy. And they still accomplish so many things in their life. But yeah, that busyness, it's kind of interesting. It wasn't very many years ago, just a few decades, that leisure was seen as success and wealth. And now it's flipped. The busier you are, the more successful you are, the more wealthy you will look. How did that switch? How did that go? It's kind of crazy.
I think one of the reasons that we do that is because we're smart.
What?
Logical people store up. They take care of, it's smart to store up. It's smart to keep your lamps trimmed and burning. It's smart to be ready for the trouble that could come in your life, and so you if you're nervous about something, well, just get ready. And
yeah.
So I don't know. There are passages that talk about staying ready, and then the people that I think of the most, I'm not going to name who they are, but the most fearful people that I know in my life, their house is completely stocked with everything they could possibly need if an emergency came along. And I mean, there's not a spot of dust in that house. There's nothing that everything's in place.
Don't come to my house.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we get ready for something because that's the way we're kind of raised to do things, And so when we just worry when things aren't quite right.
Absolutely. Okay. What does the wilderness reveal to us? There's a couple things. What it reveals to us when we're going through these times of what we really believe about God. And what I mean by that is, do you really believe God is going to provide? Do you really believe God is going to show up, bless you? Do you really believe in the provision of God that He will take care of you? Yeah, I'm not going to. I was going to tell a story there, but I'm not. Whether you really trust Him or not, do you really put your trust in God? And what really controls your attitude? Because when things go wrong, I can really figure out where you put your trust because of your attitude. Right? It's not hard to see. And so I can do that really simply. I want to go to one more passage with you. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I want to read verse 6. I think that's what this verse is on the board there. But I want to read a little bit more. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. It's really interesting. You started a little earlier in that passage, because I don't want you to be unaware, brothers, that your fathers were all under the cloud and passed through the sea, and were all baptized into Moses into the cloud and the sea. What is he talking about? What story is he going back to? Exodus and such, okay? Talk about the spiritual rock, which was Christ. Now look at verse 6 and following. Now these things took place as an example for us, that we may not desire evil as they did. So he's like, listen, there are these stories that we're talking about right now, and it's supposed to be an example of saying, don't go down this road. Okay, put your faith, put your trust in God. Do not be idolaters. What is an idolater? Somebody who worships idols. So whatever I had somebody say it like this: whatever you put your most time in, that's your idol. Do you like that? Yeah, I don't like it either. But it's interesting when he says something like that. An idol is whatever you're putting before God. You're putting your faith and your trust in that more than you're putting in God, right? And you're following that. It encompasses your whole being, heart, soul, and mind. As some of them were, as it was written, the people sat down, they eat and drank, and rose up to play. Okay, that goes back to Exodus chapter 33. We must not indulge in sexual immorality, as some of them did. and 23,000 fell in a single day. We must not put Christ to the test, as some of them did and were destroyed by serpents, nor grumble, as some of them did and were destroyed by the destroyer. Okay, that's all coming out of Numbers chapter 25, 21, and 14. Okay? Now these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instructions, on whom the end of ages has come. Therefore, that anyone who thinks that he can stand, lest he does fall. And he goes over and he continues on and says, no temptation of overtaking you. What's really interesting at verse 8, then verse about 9, and then after that, you know what these categories are? Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. It's never changed. It never changed with Eve. It doesn't change with Christ. And it doesn't change right here. And John says it's flat out. Don't love the world or the things of the world. What's the things of the world? Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And it's laid out right here as well. It just keeps reiterating itself. So if you want to understand why we don't put our full trust in God, it comes down to these things. And what we're focused on, whether it's lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, or the pride of life, all comes down to those selfish, somebody said it earlier, it's these selfish desires that we have. Okay, this is the challenge I want to give to you, then the lesson's going to be yours. I want you to replace your complaining. Okay? I want you to replace your complaining with gratitude. Somebody said it earlier. Was that you, John? No. Was it you? Talk about gratitude? Who said gratitude? Oh, yeah, sorry. I knew that. So, when you want to gripe and complain, so, okay, you know what? I'm going to allow this. If your husband or your wife starts griping and complaining, you're allowed to give one solid nudge with the elbow. Not like nudge with the elbow. You go, okay, we're supposed to be with gratitude. All right? I'm giving you permission.
How about a kick of kindness?
Like a kick with kindness or like a kick with kindness?
How about a punch of patience?
A pinch of...
Or a pinch, oh.
My brothers were really good at the under the arm pinch. Man, they hurt. They're able to hit and twist. Okay, let's not do that because we're going to complain about those things. So, but I want you to replace complaining with gratitude. I want you to do it for 1 week. 7 days, and that's it, and you're out of it. But I want you to do it for 7 days. And then next week, this is the first question that I'm going to ask you when we begin our class. What did it feel like to change complaining with gratitude? I'm asking for 7 days. That's it. I'm not asking for a month. I'm not asking for a year. I'm asking for 7 days. Okay? Hold each other accountable. Lift each other up. If somebody makes a mistake, it's okay. Just say, hey, remember what John said? Let's do some gratitude here instead of complaining about the moment. Can we find that instead? It changes your inside out. I promise. Because what we're going to do, that gratitude is going to be focused back to who? Back to God. Right on the money, or right your lips. It's going to come right back to God. So when you want to gripe about your husband or your wife, you know what? God gave you probably a wonderful husband and wife. Right? When you want to gripe and complain because you couldn't buy something, look around what God has blessed you with. There's a lot of stuff in my house. Right? So with those moments when you say, man, I wouldn't know, let's look at gratitude. Okay? All right. It's going to be a good series. It's going to have fun. I will tell you this. In 2 weeks, we have an ice cream social. Praise the Lord. Right? And so we will come in here, all right, and we'll have a class, and we'll be a little shorter, and then we're going to go to ice cream social. The ice cream social is about meeting our interns and hanging out with them and spending some time with them. And I want you to have that opportunity. We have 3 great interns from Bus for Christ, and I want you to spend a few minutes with them. Okay? I want you to encourage them. They're going to need it, and I really want our congregation to surround them. You already do this. Surround them with love and encourage them. You know, they need to know. And they I believe they already know, but they need to hear it that people are right behind them for this summer. They're taking care of our kids. It's a big ask. And they're going to stay real busy for a couple of months. Okay? That's 2 weeks from now. And, yeah. Any questions, comments? Come tonight? Hey, great class. Really good. You guys really participated well tonight. Looking forward to the future. Jay, will you lead us out in prayer or end us out in prayer? And the lesson is yours, and I'll see you next week.
Father, we're so grateful for this day, for the opportunity that we have to come together in the middle of the week and be encouraged by your word, to be encouraged by each other as we study from your word. Father, we just pray that you would be with us and and help us not to take for granted the blessings that we have that come from you. Father, we ask that you would help us to be thankful for the blessings that we have, to have that heart of gratitude, and to realize that and to share that joy that we have with those around us. Father, we're so grateful for the church and for the love that we have for one another. Father, be with us as we depart from this place. Help us to be a blessing to those around us until we come back together again. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.